Hi, Bob. Bob was the first one on today. Thanks for joining today, y'all. You can hear me okay, right? Just letting people join. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I always have so much fun when we do lives. And I thought let's start to do them maybe on a regular basis where we can go over some of the fun details that you might have snoozed through, and also tell you about some fun things coming up and projects, community projects we can work on together. I think this is a good time to find ways to connect with your community. And I want to remind you that the Village of Nothing Much is a safe place. It's a place where I am your guardian, and I will lovingly watch over here in Ms. Nicolai's neighborhood. So I'm gonna dive in. You can make comments and stuff. I'm a really bad multitasker, so I might miss stuff, but there'll probably be moments where I can ask you to comment or drop questions for me. But the first thing I want to talk to you about is our next village community project, which we've done a couple in the past. We've done some glimmer gatherings where we sort of shared those little moments. That glimmers are the opposite of triggers, where we notice something that makes us stop and feel connected to the good things in the world. We did that a couple months ago. It was super fun. We've also done some gratitude ones. And the next one is going to be a side quest bingo card, which I came up with when I was writing this month's bonus episode. It's called Side Quest. And if you're not a premium subscriber, this is a great time to join so that you can listen to this episode, which I have had cooking in the back of my brain for a little while, thinking about sort of designing things into your days, reasons to get out and enjoy the world, things to look forward to, and calling those your side quests. And then just to make it a little bit more fun, to put it together on sort of a bingo card, to keep them front of mind, and then to have the wonderful satisfaction of checking them off. So right now, Megan, who is our fairy pod mother, you know her probably from her admin and moderation work on our socials, and Kaylee, who does marketing and design for us. We have been working to put together a Nothing Much Happens bingo card. And we also want to solicit some ideas from you. We have tons of ideas for fun things, side quests that we can take on in the next few months. We're going to do these quarterly. So think of this as like a midwinter to early spring ideas of things that you can just plant into your week to look forward to. They could be stuff like watching a funny movie, or taking a picture with someone you love, or going to the greenhouse and checking out all the plants that are growing right now, going for a walk. They don't have to be crazy things. Although in the side quest story, I never know if I should spoil stuff, because sometimes you're never going to hear it. You're going to sleep through the whole thing. But one of the side quests that happens in the side quest story is a grown-up treasure hunt at the library. And while I was writing it, I was like, well, how do I make this happen in my life? I want to do a treasure hunt at the library. So maybe that's something that we can figure out how to set up for one another, even if it's sort of self-directed. So if you have ideas for the side quest bingo cards, please go ahead and drop them in the chat. I know Kaylee and I think Megan are on right now, so even if I miss them, they can get them. I also just wanted to talk a little bit about the stories we heard in January. We had a couple really fun ones. If you notice, there was like a 3-week snowstorm that was happening across the village of Nothing Much. It started with the story Window Weather, and then we had Snowstorm at Weather Vane Farm, and what was the third one? Snow Day in the Village. One of my favorite animals in the village, who just got introduced last year, but I feel like hasn't gotten his due yet, is Frigo the dog, who lives at Weather Vane Farm and is best friends with George the donkey. Frigo is a husky and loves to be out in the snow, and I named him Frigo because in Italian, that's the shortened form of frigorifero, which means refrigerator. So I thought that was a fitting name for him. So I don't know, let me know if you've heard Frigo's story. He appeared in an earlier episode last fall. And then another favorite thing I had in one of the stories was Snow Day in the Village. Did you guys hear the name of the snowblower? I feel like this just flew right over everyone's head, and no one has yet mentioned to me that they heard the name of the snowblower. So in this story, which, if I can situate you, the narrator of this story lives next door to the cool aunt's nephews, who just got a puppy. Check back in with bonus story for December, Dog Park Party, where we learned about this new puppy. They've already had Clover, the golden retriever. They get Crimson, the new puppy, so they have Crimson and Clover. And so the narrator lives next door to them. She's thinking about going over to visit the puppy, bring them the banana bread she's baked. She's looking out the window, and she sees that she has one neighbor who loves to fire up his snowblower and take care of the whole neighborhood. And his snowblower, he loves it so much he's named it, is named Cleopatra. And I loved Cleopatra. The second runner-up, honorable mention, was going to be No More Mr. Ice Guy. But I loved Cleopatra because I loved them thinking that this is a history teacher who loves, the amazing women of history. And so, excuse me, so I love the idea of naming the snowblower after Cleopatra. I also want to talk about what's coming up in February. Something very exciting is coming up in February. In fact, I had to put a disclaimer in one of the stories that something actually happens. I know a lot of you have been waiting to find out what was at the top of the secret stair, which was part of the Halloween stories that came out last October. It was a 4-week series where we build up to the secret stair. Maybe go back and treat yourself to a daytime listen so you're kind of ready. So I knew that I was going to revisit this story at Valentine's Day, because before we've kind of talked about Valentine's Day at the inn being an exciting time. Chef comes back from their work at the chalet, and we've got Sycamore to check in with. It's a good time to be at the inn and see what's going on. And I thought, okay, it's time. Let's write this story. And so I sit down to write it, and I thought, well, let me fill in a little color, everything that's happening at the inn right now. And then before you know it, I wrote 3 stories and I didn't get to what's at the top of the secret stair till the end of the 3rd one. So I apologize for that. It kind of got away from me. I think it wants to be its own book, and that's probably why I had so much to say. But it's going to be a really exciting series where we finally learn more about the first innkeeper. Maybe I'll have Megan put together sort of like a playlist of stories you could listen to get ready for that, because now the history of the inn is quite storied. There's just been probably over a dozen stories that all touch on who the original innkeeper was and the history of that house. If anybody has any questions about the inn or the innkeepers, I'm not going to tell you what's at the top of the secret stair, but if I can answer any questions about that, we'll just pause for a second. We will definitely put a playlist together. Well, let me know if you have questions. Yeah, I love the idea of doing a playlist for all the characters, and I want to say on YouTube, Bob has done that. So if you ever want to go over to our YouTube page, you can listen to like all the Marmalade and Crumbs, you know, listen to specific storylines. So, and you can also create your own playlist if you listen on Spotify. I think that's a really nice way to put things together, but we're working on more plans to, you know, make it easier and more functional for you to search by favorite storyline and then, you know, be able to listen to all those stories that connect to it. I also wonder how many of y'all have taken the walking tour over on the Daytime podcast, Stories from the Village of Nothing Much. Let me know. We had so much fun making this. As soon as I sent it to Bob, he was so excited to be working on something. He's probably excited to be working on something different because we've been doing, you know, Nothing Much Happens together for almost 7 years. And I think it's fun for both of us when we get to veer off course just a little bit. Thanks, Bob. Bob has dropped the link to our YouTube page where you can check out those playlists. Yeah, you liked the walking tour. Lovely. My mom told me she did it like 4 times. And she's not the only person I heard that from. I heard a lot of people say, I did this a weird number of times. And I want to tell you, it's not weird. The world is weird right now. Seeking ways to feel calm and connected and relaxed and safe, not weird. So you just go ahead and listen as many times as you like. Today I am writing February's walking tour. Right now we're aiming for the last Monday of the month to be walking tour day. And a little spoiler, we're gonna head to the library. And we're gonna walk through the entire library and see the new wing. And then we're gonna take the trails out back, which we have been to before in a couple of other stories. So we'll get a little indoor time and a little outdoor time as spring begins to spring in the Village of Nothing Much. There's one more piece of housekeeping I want to let you know about, and I don't want to confuse you. So I will try to be very concise. If you are a premium member, there's 2 places you can get your premium feed from. And this is only for people who use the premium through Apple. So only for Apple Premium. And you might already know this information because I've sent a couple listener messages your way. But we have to close that channel. It's a long, dumb story. And it is just part of cleaning up some messes in the business side of Nothing Much Happens and making it more efficient and productive for us and for you. We have to close that channel, and that's going to happen tomorrow. And then the very next day, a new version of Nothing Much Happens Apple Premium will open, and we really hope you'll come over and sign up. And if you've ever wondered if you want to join Premium, and specifically if you want to join Apple Premium, there's going to be a special where you get the first 2 months free if you sign up in February. So we have, you know, ad-free, I think close to 50 bonus episodes now, and all these supersized, what we call Much More Happens episodes that are like 8 hours long and you can listen to get through the entire night. Ladybug just yawned. The girls are next to me, Ladybug and Cricket, on their heated blankets.
Cricket, oh
This is Cricket. She's a little old lady. She's even got a old lady mole between her eyes. She's 13. We've only had her for 2 years. Ladybug, do you want to come up? Come here, bunny. And this is Ladybug. She loves to give kisses. Thank you for the kisses, bunny. Thank you. Ladybug is 7 years old. We've had her since 2020. They're both Chihuahuas. I do kind of go in depth into Ladybug and Cricket information in the backstory of some episodes of Stories from the Village of Nothing Much. If you ever want to hear me spill a little village tea, check out those episodes because I always read the stories and then afterwards I spend a little bit of time talking about the way the stories connect and just letting you know some information, behind the scenes information about what it's like to write these stories and dream up these dreams. We've got a few minutes, y'all. If you have questions, general questions about the podcast, anything you want to ask me, I mean, you can literally ask me anything. It doesn't mean I'll answer, but you can ask me. I crack me up. And I want to remind you, if you joined late, that our community project, the cards are going to be available Friday, February 7th. So we'll be posting more how to sign up, how to make sure you get your bingo card, what to do once you got it. But we're starting a community project for side quests for the next 3 months. Fun little projects that you can do just to kind of boost your own enrichment, give you happy, good things to focus on. We are taking ideas for the side quests, but we have lots of them too, and you'll get your card on Friday. Someone asked if I get writer's block, and I have to say that I'm knocking on wood. That is not an experience that I've had. Part of it, I think, is because I've found out that creativity is like a muscle that has to be trained and used all the time. I write so much and I have so many deadlines. I have 3 weekly releasing podcasts, which I'm like, whose idea was that? So I have to write so much, and I'm working on other things as well. So I feel like I kind of don't have time to have writer's block. I just have to keep going. But I love doing it. It is a huge joy to me. So it is like when people often write in and say, are you interested in having other writers join you? Selfishly, I say no, because I love to write it myself. Someone asked if I actually walked around to do the museum tour. I did not. I did, I have to be in the recording booth to make sure that the sound is clean. So as I wrote it out, I really thought about, the time it would take to walk down this hallway, the things I could point out here or there, and sort of the pacing of how that felt. Which was all a really fun, creative exercise. I feel like I'm not going to shock anyone when I tell you I was a theater kid. So, that feeling of adding a layer of acting into the storytelling came quite naturally to me. And I'm excited to keep going with the next round. Any other questions, folks? Bob did a great job with the sound design. I agree. It was so much fun to do. It was exciting to have a new kind of podcast to offer you. Who is the narrator in Needle and Thread? Have we heard another story from them? The person who ripped their coat on the garden tour. That's a good question. I don't think that the person who narrated Needle and Thread narrated the garden tour. I think they were on that tour, but that they weren't the person we heard from. So I have a feeling we haven't heard from this person before. Just a new villager. I'm glad you dig the sound of the recording booth. I use an inbox booth and I love it. It makes all the difference. It's even nice because it's right here next to me. So I sit here and write, and then I just go into my booth. And before, my office is like at the top of my house, and I had a room in the bottom of my house where I recorded. And it might not seem like a big deal, but just having to go down 2 flights of stairs and then let the dogs out and let them back in and get the mail, I would get lost sometimes between here and there, and it seemed trickier to record. Now it's a whole lot easier. Well, my friends, thank you for tuning in and spending this time with me. I so value the community that we have. I hope you can feel when you listen to my voice at night how earnestly I care, how much I want you to feel safe and guarded over, and like you have landed someplace that you never have to worry about yourself in when you listen to my stories. That is what I work toward every day, what our entire team works toward every day. There's all these people who maybe you've never met, strangers on the internet who care about you and who spend a lot of time and effort every day creating something to make you feel safe and loved. I know it seems like an artificial world sometimes, but that is real, that is genuine, that comes from our heart straight to you. We love the work that we do, and we're grateful for your support because it all means that we get to keep doing it. So thank you for joining me today. I really hope that you will join us for our side quest bingo card community project, which starts on Friday. Just keep an eye on us. We're going to post in stories and stuff. We'll give you a way to connect so that you can download your own card and you can start to look for some fun projects to get you through this winter. The next time I say sweet dreams, I'll be thinking of you.